Hey guys, just give me a quick second. I just want to make sure. Yeah, we got Dev. See, he's checked in. We got 7 folks on the line. It's been a couple weeks since we had a conversation. I want to give you guys an update in terms of where we are in constituting a new team, doing the chain build, and also the details around the swap, which will be happening on August the 15th or sooner. If it's going to happen sooner, then we will let you know for sure. Um, the first thing, I want to keep this relatively short, but at the same time, I do want to be able to address some questions. If you do have any questions for me, if you want them answered before the a well prepared response, if you want, just ask me before the webinar. Just send me the questions in my DM on Xanthix, or just hit me up on LinkedIn or on Twitter as well to ask any questions that you might have. But today, guys, we're going to talk about the new team. Since there's been a break or a faction that has developed within the community, led by John, it's the case that we have a new channel, and we're going to be communicating through that channel. I'm not quite sure what John is going to be doing within his community, but everyone within LPC is welcome to come into the new channel. It's the point now where we have the new Discord channel. Members have started volunteering to participate in the new channel as well, which is a good thing. And at the same time, new team members. I had over the past couple of weeks just had a few folks stop by the office and lend their support in actually being able to launch the new chain. There's some people that who've been behind the scenes but haven't been like upfront in participating proactively in the process. We made like an initial investment into like Eurex IO for the exchange, and they're coming over as well to play a more pivotal role in building out the user interfaces for like our website and things like that, and helping to manage the chain as well. I don't see Jim, but that's moving forward. Also, there's another member of the community. As I mentioned, that was members of EuroXIO. Some of those team members are coming over to help to like manage the user interface and help us with some user UI concerns, like for Exchange.io. As you can see now, it's a decent, a much heavier focus on general business uses. Even though we'll still play around with the ATMs, point of sale devices, and the supply chain, but yet we're building the chains more for general purpose use. And it will have integrated into it IPFS for business. That's one of the requirements. We will still have master nodes. The degree to which we'll have staking, because it's caused us issues in the past, that's still up for debate, but I'm not quite sure if we're going to move down that path of having the staking in place. But it will definitely be the case that we will still have master nodes. We're not. It's proof of work is not a consideration. But then, like I said, we're still debating on whether or not we're going to have staking. We still have master nodes, and that's that on the new chain. The old chain review, as I mentioned before, Lee reviewed the chain, both chains, deactivated support keys, and that was done by Vlad, and that's both on LPC, LGS. And the seed nodes, we're unable to get access on the seed nodes, so we can't make updates on the old chain. So we're building out the new chain, taking snapshots, and actually doing a one-to-one swap LBC LGS. Just stating that over and over again, so you guys can like really get it. But at the same time, the swap will happen on exchange. Out of all of this, I think this is still one of the things or contributions that I've made in terms of development into the LPC and LGS projects is the exchange multi-currency wallet for both LPC and for LGS. And this is where the swap will occur. It will occur on LPC, LGS. The swap will occur on exchange LPC, LGS into the new coin. So start thinking about at this point now some names that you'd like. We're going to put that out to the community in terms of what you'd like to have as the new coin name. But at this point, just know that the swap will happen on exchange. So you'll deposit, and here's the process flow for now. For all the coins that you might have at a particular location, if you have it on a like a staking service, I'm not quite sure if staking services will support the swap. And certain exchanges will be reaching out to ask to see if they will be supporting the swap for LPC, LGS. But we'll communicate to all of those locations. We'll let you guys know what exchanges will be supporting the swap. Then you can have your coins sitting either on those exchanges or for sure the exchange web wallet. Once you have your coins on the exchange web wallet, once that date and once the line is drawn in the sand, we'll give approximate blocks or the approximate block height where the snapshot will be taken both for LPC and for LGS, but it will occur on this roughly on the same day, and then we'll be giving swaps, one-to-one swaps on the relevant exchanges. So if for instance the case that the not Cryptopia but CryptoBridge supports the swap, then it's the case you can keep your coins on CryptoBridge and the swap will occur on CryptoBridge. If you have your coins on exchange web wallet, then the swap will occur on the web wallet. But in any case, you will need to have your coins from the various locations. And my recommendation is for the exchange web wallet. So your coins will be on the wallet, and you'll already have your LPC wallet. There will be your LGS wallet, and let's say a week before you'll see the new wallet, but it won't be active. But yet your coins will swap out into that new wallet. So when you check your balances, you'll see your balances on LPC, you see your balances on LGS, and you'll see your new balance that reflects the sum of LPC and LGS into the new wallet. Because like I mentioned before, there's going to be a one-to-one swap. My internet connection is somewhat weird, so I'm unable to see the chat and what's happening in the chat. But what I would encourage you guys to do now is to go on to the exchange.io or our beta site. That's web-02.exchange.io, and that's where the swap can take place. Now I wish I could see some of these some of the comments. I just see the first three: Dev, English, and Pero Matan. So let me see if I can do a quick refresh and I can see if I can get the chat and then answer some questions coming from the chat. Let's do this. I'm going to exit here, and I'm going to come back into. I'm going to watch it here. Okay. Okay, now I do see some questions. Exchange, and yeah, starting back at the top. Yeah, sorry, yeah, it is lagging, and my internet, I got it swapped out. It's not the best, so maybe I need to do the next update from the office, where it's where the internet connection is much faster. How are we doing the tech team as far as a funded treasury? The new treasury will there will be a new treasury on the new chain. That's what I do know. That's what I do know for sure. I'm not quite sure what John has happening on his side. Even though he and his team, they're going through whatever. But I would refer you to have a conversation with John to find out what's happening. Will LPC be listed from exchanges after the swap? Um, it will, and this is like from what I understand, the old coin will still, it will swap into the new coin. So, um, to the degree that we maintain more, my responsibility at this point is getting up the new chain. I'm not throwing any, I'm not going to have responsibility for maintaining those two chains. It's just too much work. And at the same time, as I mentioned before, with Lee making a review, though we can't do anything, considering that Vlad, he he no longer has access to the seed nodes. From what I understand, Colin has been communicating with him. He doesn't have access to the seed nodes. The sport keys are deactivated, so no one can do any updates on the chain at all. So that it's pretty much a LPC, LGS, or floating chains till you get on to the new one. I don't understand why Exchange is being promoted through LPC channels. Can someone explain? That's Jonathan. Jonathan, Exchange is the managing entity of LPC and LGS. That's it. That is when we have full-blown team developers and all. I was responsible for more of the aspects of helping through Exchange. There would needed to be a legal entity through which LPC, LGS could get onto exchanges, and Exchange was the managing entity for that. Why you didn't allow voting on LPC blockchain? I'm not sure. Okay, saying why I did not allow voting on LPC blockchain. I think that probably came from a rumor stating that I said voting wasn't allowed on the blockchain. For me, I don't have any control over the blockchain whatsoever, notwithstanding access. I control access to the repositories. Anything else, any members who were given rights to access the blockchain has access the code in the repository. If they were given access, they still had that access. And once, as I mentioned before, the support keys were deactivated. Seed nodes aren't available, so I didn't have anything to do with preventing any voting from occurring. Is there any proof of the ATM advertised? The ATM that we have in place with the partnership with CoinLogic, there was a tweet that went back and forth where some members of the community were asking CoinLogic, does the partnership exist? Is anything? Dwayne came back and said that there is a partnership, and he's still along with the team, but yet the support has been lacking. I'm not quite sure if we're continuing with the partnership with them, even though it's the case. There were some problems with the ATMs, but it's the case that Dwayne has said there's something that he's continuing to do and move forward with the LPC team. I'm not quite sure. That's, as I mentioned before, it's still going to be a part of the plan with the ATMs, but I'm not quite sure if the partnership with CoinLogic, considering the level of customer support that we've had so far with the ATMs, if that's going to be followed through. Why new chain? You have a lot of questions there, Pedro, but I want to try to stay on 30 minutes at tops, but answer the questions. The new chain, because it was the case that Vlad was someone who was kicked out of the community. There were a few articles in terms of like what he did in terms of scamming in this space, and that's something that We didn't tolerate it. Members of the community got together, said, "Hey, let's kick him out." But yet there wasn't necessarily a contingency plan for another developer. When he left, it's the case now. Now that I had Lee come in and review the chain, that the sport keys were deactivated, the seed nodes are no longer available, the chains no longer work. So not the chains no longer work, but we cannot make any updates to the chain without the seed nodes and the sport keys being active. So we need a chain that where we can actively manage the chain. I took it upon myself to say we're launching a new chain. Because he's gone, I'm shifting my role more from more on the marketing side and biz dev side to more of the development and operation side. How many coins here? Let me see. Realign linear genius. Why don't you need it? LPC Genesis block constant character. I'm not understanding that question, so I'll move on. Yeah, this project is still on, Zeller. I'm in Telegram. It's very and we're constituting a new chain. Once we build out the new channel, once we decide what the new rebranding and the new coin name, you'll be getting all the new channel information. I'm one person. I'm more active now on the development side more than anything else than managing community. I know Colin has been at the point now where he's created the new channel in Discord. I'd recommend you going to Discord. I want to hold long, but do I have to swap it? I heard there's a swap. As I mentioned before, I'm not quite sure if anyone else will be managing or even maintaining LPC LGS in any way. I won't be involved in that process. You can touch base with Jean in the other LPC channel, and perhaps he can tell you something about that. Zeller, I've heard that question too. Let's see. Yeah. So what's the status on the ATM and CoinLogic showing the ATM's Logic Pay coin? Do you plan to take any legal action against them? In my correspondence with Lucas Velasquez and with Dwayne Golden Sr. on the going onto the ATM, beginning to make a purchase, and then you see Light Pay coin in the beginning. Once you click on Light Pay coin, then it shows Logic Pay coin. That was and I took a snapshot and I sent the picture to Lucas Velasquez about that particular issue. And Dwayne, I sent it to Dwayne first, and I say, what's going on? He didn't reply. So, and that was like 2 or 3 different sends to him asking what was happening. Lucas said there was something on the issue about there was an error in the update. There's an error in the update that happened on my machine. Now, I haven't gone back to see what the software update has been, but it's the case that the brand is a brand. If you look at how it was done initially, we don't have a copyright on the brand. This is something like you go to our exchange logo that's on our Twitter page. It's a copyrighted logo. So no one can take that logo and move forward with it. LPC wasn't copyrighted. Vlad didn't copyright it, and it was the case once I had come on a few weeks after the launch, and now we're in the 1-year anniversary. No one had copyrighted the logo. So at this point, I'm not copywriting. If you have to be able to establish copyright, someone taking a brand, if it is in fact the case that they've made LPC Logic Pay coin. But at this point, that what was communicated to me from Lucas Velasquez at Logic Pay was that there was an issue. And as Pedal Man again, be warned. We are professional. Sure, you can make all the comments that you want there, and that's your opinion there, Pedal Man. And we didn't get accepted into the Anthony onto Bittrex, so That's the particular issue there. We didn't get accepted. One, we didn't necessarily have a dev. Two, the community support here. And that's where we are at this point. So as I mentioned before, I'll go over the details again. We are having the new team development. As I mentioned before, some members have come on with a new team that we're launching the coin. The swap or relaunch that's happening on the 15th is we're swapping LPC for LGS. The new team members will consist of some folks from UX.io, some members who've been in the community but haven't been proactive and been out front and actively managing the chain will be involved as well. The old chain review, as one member of the community who came in, Lee, like I mentioned before, he's going over to Carnegie Mellon, but he does have a few months before he goes over. He reviewed the old chains, LPC and LGS, where we kicked out the scammer Vlad, who was going around and creating new projects over and over again. We kicked him out of the community. He reviewed the chains and saw that seed nodes and the support keys were deactivated. So at this point, that rendered the chains being updated useless. So that's why we have decided to do the merge of LPC and LGS. And we'll still move forward with some of the original missions as stated in the white paper. But at this point, the swap, we're looking at the swap that will occur on the 15th. At this point, you guys can come along and get on to participate in the swap. Like I said, you create your wallet on the new beta site, and then we can move on from there. Right now, I paid the fee, and I can show you the fee we paid for Yobit. They said after 21 days, if you aren't listed, your coin is not accepted. And that's where we are at this point. So now it looks like if there aren't any more legitimate questions here, if you have any questions, like I said, send them directly to me in the Discord channel, the new Discord channel, or on LinkedIn or on Twitter. You know how to get to me, and then we can take it from there. So it looks like that's about it. We don't have any other legitimate questions in here. All right. Thanks for your time, guys.